Hi, kids. So good to see you. Do you want to come play with us? Let's go on an adventure in our Toybox.
There are so many beautiful leaves in the trailer for Frozen 2. And today, in this episode, we are going to practice drawing a watercolor leaf. You can see there are some beautiful leaves outside right now. My daughter and I went around and we picked up these from our neighborhood. This one almost looks pink. These are nice and dry. We flattened them under some books so that we can see the detail on them and really study their features a little bit. So to start off, we're going to actually trace this leaf. Tracing can be a good skill for little kids to practice. They trace letters, trace shapes, get in the right habit of having the correct forms. Now, that's a good contour line for our leaf. Now we're going to put these internal lines. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect, and you can see that even the leaf isn't perfect, so no sense in perfecting this. Alright, I'm just going to do a quick outline around the outside to make it a little bit more contrasted. Now, if you were doing this with really young kids, like under the age of 5, maybe under the age of 4, you could trace it out for them to start, and then they can fill in the inside with the watercolor pencil. But tracing is also very good for them to practice. Okay, so there's the outside of our leaf. I really like these watercolor pencils by Crayola. They really just go on smoothly. You can put more or less pigment where you want it. I'm going to go along with the colors that we see here. So I have yellow and red and orange, all your classic fall colors. I'm going to go from light to dark. I'm going to lay down where the lightest color is, and that is all along the middle. The great thing about watercolor pencils are they're very forgiving. You can scribble. It doesn't have to look perfect. When you add the water, it just smooths it all out. When you add the darker colors, they really take over. So I'm trying to add a little bit more yellow than is actually there. So I think next I'm going to add some orange. Blend that in. Just like on the real leaf itself, I'm adding a little bit of contrast towards the ends, a little bit deeper, richer color, and then a little lighter towards the center. little bit of red at the ends as well. For older kids, they obviously could practice drawing the leaf out without tracing it. That would be a good exercise. But for young kids, like I said, tracing is okay. I think in school we're told so often that tracing is bad, always bad. You should never, ever, ever trace. But sometimes, especially if you're tracing something like nature, something that you found outside, it's okay. Especially if you're just having fun with it, seeing what kind of product you can get. Alright, so to this I'm just going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to start in the middle with the light colors and then work my way out. That way the dark colors don't overwhelm the light colors. I'm going to use a little bit of water. You don't need to use too much. That's definitely something that I see younger kids doing, just adding a ton of water on this. So adding a little bit of water at a time is really the key. So you can stress that idea with little kids. Just a little bit, a couple drops. Also, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overwork any area. Just keep moving. You can always go back once it dries and add more. But it's hard if you get rid of that texture completely to bring it back. So at this point, I have barely any water on my brush. I'm just using a kid's round brush. Nothing fancy, just a Crayola kid's round brush. I've left this area to dry for a few seconds because I don't want it to take over the yellow. Go back in here and blend this area. Just a little bit of water. Pretty much done. I can go back in and I can add a little bit of brown here just to kind of bring back out some of the detail of the veining, the lines here on the leaf. Now this is a little bit wet, so you don't want to press too hard. You wouldn't want to rip the paper. You could wait until this is dry to do this part, and that's actually what I recommend. All right, and there you have it. This is a leaf inspired by the new movie Frozen 2 coming out soon, and our friend Anna here. I think kids would really like this project, especially with the new movie coming out and the popularity that Frozen has with kids. So go outside, grab yourself some leaves with your kids, and start painting. Bye, Toybox kids. For more videos like this, more activities for kids, please subscribe.